All right, so I want you to sit upright, and today, just to be a little bit more specific, and when we sit cross-legged, flex your feet so that the actual soles of the feet face the right wall, the wall. So the soles of the feet, you're not on the tops of the feet, which is a different way to sit. When, just to explore this, when you're on the tops of the feet, the inner thighs, you'll feel descend down more to the floor. Where you're on the sides of the feet, where the soles of the feet are facing outward, it generates a compactness in the hips. And then you might ask yourself, well, what's so important about the compactness of the hips? Well, if you put your thumb and index finger on the corners of the hips, you'll actually feel those indents, that inherent sense of compactness, and you're able to actually make your spine straighter, right? And you can even do, if you want a comparative study, just come onto the tops of the feet. You'll lose some of that compactness. You might feel, likely that you'll feel the inner thighs descend down more, but then adjust the feet. So one of the reasons we spend so much time sitting is because, you know, these seated postures, they actually are very informational in terms of keeping your trunk upright. So that when you're doing sitting in your normal life, be it reading or at a table and eating, your spine is straight. Now adjust yourself so that your lumbar spine is not overarched. So that's one of the themes today we're working on, not digging in at the back kidneys. The abdomen should not feel like it's pressing forward. You should feel a sense of tallness in the lower spine. And that's really important for poses like Warrior One and Utkatasana. And then adjust your shoulder blades. You can take the arms out to the side to do that with the palms up, and then pronate the palms flat on the roots of the thighs. And then as you press the thighs down, experience that tallness in the spine. And then allow your eyes to close. Sense the eyes spreading from the inner corners to the outer corners. And then just imagine your hand on the crown of the head, descending the mental energy down, but still the physical energy is active and alive. So you're not slumping back nor getting sleepy. And then just imagine your palms were folded in front of your chest, as though you were taking an inner bow to being alive, to being present. Appreciative of this time now, with reverence to this co-created space. Reverent to the reality that you have found a path of compassion, of understanding, of wisdom. And just sit with this sense of reverence, or perhaps you could call it gratitude, unifying the body and the mind. And see if some level of vitality, that quality of aliveness, is generated. Oftentimes, when we have a gratitude practice of some sorts, we feel more alive. We feel that vitality. And then silently to yourself, you can repeat, may I be a boat, a raft, a bridge for all beings to cross the flood. May I be a resting place for the weary. May I be medicine for all who are sick. May I be a lamp in the darkness for those who are lost. And may I do so as long as earth and sky and galaxies exist, until all beings are enlightened. I vow to be here to serve them all. Now gently allow your eyes to open. And again, sense the compactness of the hips, because if you slump during that 3 minutes or so, the compactness of the hips will help you sit up tall. And then take a deep inhalation and feel how the in-breath touches the side walls of the chest. And if you like to, you can even place your hands, as I'm doing, on the side walls of the chest. Be mindful as you take that inhalation not to charge the throat, the bottom of the throat, or the eyes. So just take a deep inhalation that way. It might feel like you're puffing the chest, that's fine. And then let the breath go, exhale. And then another inhalation in that same manner. So using the breath for the purpose of charging the chest. But when I mean charging, I mean to sense the fullness in the armpit chest without any charging of the brain or the throat. And then stretch out your legs. So I'm going to encourage you to, we're going to do Supta Virasana because I've gone through some of the sequences of the past few weeks and we haven't done it as much as probably we need to do. So I'd like you to do Virasana and sit back in Supta Virasana. So let me just show this quickly in case, I'm sure you all know Supta Virasana. So you're sitting, and again, I would really, urge you to use the belt in Virasana, and then you come off the bolster and then you recline back. Now, if your knees bother you, then do Swastikasana or Supta Baddha Konasana. But I'll encourage you all to do Supta Virasana because otherwise the hip flexors get very tight. Mary Beth, that's good. Janet. So you can show me in profile. That's the very best way I can see. Hi, Lana. Gail's here. Good. All right. So you're in Virasana. Now, again, if your knees bother you, then you can do soles of the feet together, which is much easier on the knees, or simply cross-legged Supta Swastikasana, okay? All right, so I see most of you have the organic support behind you. Tom, you can show me in profile versus frontal. Marina, good. All right. Yes, you don't need any support. If you're in Swastikasana, you don't need any support for your knees. Yeah, Nancy, and then just make sure the feet point straight back, the thighs are slightly separated, good. Inner heels are resisting away from your outer hips, and then go back slowly. Make sure, Nancy, that the trunk support vertical is not too close up to your buttocks. No Lubna today, Lana? Oh, too bad. Okay. Mary Beth, make sure the trunk support is not too, I think it could be a smidge. Let it catch the back kidneys, Mary Beth. Oh, sorry, Nancy, you had to get up. That's always annoying. Err on more height. So this is the thing. If we don't practice this pose, I would say once a week. I think Lana, you were saying, or someone had commented to me about Supta Virasana. I thought it was Lana. Was it you, Lana, that we hadn't done it? So it gets harder. And I know that's for some, especially with knee issues. Tom, if it's too much, remember, build up height and then you can go back. And if that doesn't work, then do the chair method where the feet are actually on a bolster and the bolster's behind the trunk and the bolster's on the chair. I think you all know what I mean because I know I've demonstrated the chair. Nancy, that's good. And then at some point you might take a smidge of height out. So if you haven't done this, good, Marina, changing the cross, of course. And then Marina, after you've changed the cross state on the same time, do Supta Baddha Konasana. And then extend the arms overhead if you haven't. I see some of you have stretched your arms overhead to get length in your side ribs, which you'll need for dog pose. Elaine, when we do dog pose, you can use the Dal Suki. You can do half Uttanasana, Elaine, at the wall. If we do it again, which we probably will, then I would switch over to Virabhadrasana 3, Elaine, with 2 blocks. All right, so now addressing what we need to address. And now hold your wrists or elbows or upper arms. Tom, so do it that way, but the better, the setup that I'm referring to, Tom, looks like this. So you actually, but if you don't have 2 bolsters, this is a slightly more similar to the geometry that we're in. So you can see there's a bolster, you could put blankets here, and I'm reclining back in this manner. So then if anyone is not sure of The way to do Supta Virasana on a chair with 2 bolsters, take a look at your screen. I'm in it now, which is always a possibility. So you're higher up, that elevation is less intense. You can see on the knee. The knee is not in that deep flexion, right? So this is, Marina, yeah, take a look. Because this is, if your knees bother you, this is the very best way, as Jack Cornfield would say, the very best way. Yeah, you'll need the bolster, Tom, for the trunk as you recline back. If the chair, if you're too, yeah, you can always put a blanket underneath the buttocks and then recline back. Now extend the arms fully or back to Urdhva Hasana, and then take the swap of the arms in Baddha Hasta. Observe, for some of you who have a good amount of height, you might consider taking a smidge of height out now. Consider that, just note to self. Yeah. That's a better setup, Tom. Yeah. And then once you've taken out that height, then take the arms down by the side. Okay, so good. That was the chair setup. I saw that some of you had a look, and that's good. All right. Now that's a good amount of time. Take the hands into the arches of the feet. Lead with your chest. Up you come. Those of you cross-legged or in Baddha Konasana, place the hands at the roots of the thighs. Give a good stretch to the legs in Dandasana. In Dandasana. Okay, so what we're going to do is do a traction belt, Supta Panagustasana cycle. So if you only have one belt, and I'd like you to do this at the wall, but let me just show quickly. So if you don't have a second belt, then use a towel or something. So I want everyone to do the traction belt. Notice the traction belt is going around my left arch of the foot and my outer right hip. And I have the belt, the purple belt, not in the hip crease, but slightly closer to the knee. All right. And then we'll take Ekapada. Imagine this foot at the wall. All right. So traction belt around the left arch at the wall. Good, Mary Beth, and outer right hip. So these belts, if you don't have a long belt, like 8 foot to 10 foot, they can be purchased on Amazon, or you can come by my house and you can borrow one. All right. That's it, Marina. I have another one nearby, good, Winnie. Remember, ideally the tail should go on the outer thigh and not in the hip crease. That often bothers people, especially if they have a hip issue. And then hold your shin, Ekapada. So I want to go over, there's 2 stages here. We're going to, and let me explain. We're doing deep hip flexion before we straighten the leg. This I'm teaching Alana. This is how I taught you yesterday. But this is not how I typically teach it. All right, if you need to look at the camera, you can look at the camera. So just take a look. This first position, you know, is Ekapada. And then we're going to do where the shin is perpendicular to the floor. Again, deep hip flexion, merging the thigh with the belly. And then after we hold that, we'll take the leg up to beyond 90. So usually if you think about it, you might be saying, oh, Ronnie never teaches it that way. And I don't teach it that way. But I start at 90 and then we move the leg. So this is just something different. And a very good teacher that I recently took a class with taught it this way because she was saying, Janet, I was thinking of you, that people are so concerned about their hamstrings and not so much about the deep hip flexion, which can be helpful to stretch the hamstrings. So Janet, this is for you. Okay, Ekapada Pavanmuttasana, when you're ready. I want deep hip flexion. So Tom, bend the right leg now. Bend the right leg. The right leg. So your right leg. The left, no, keep the left leg straight and have the left foot at the wall, and now just bend your right leg. Hold the shin. You're holding the shin. If the hips are tight, then use the belt to hold the shin. But the leg is bent. See, Tom, if you can get the shin parallel to the ceiling, parallel to the floor. Wait there. Deep hip flexion. Take a few deep cycles of breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. See if you can get your thigh closer to your belly. So we're deflating the abdomen, spending about a minute in Ekapada, and then another minute or so where the shin is perpendicular to the floor, merging the leg with the belly. So this is deep hip flexion in service of stretching the hamstring. Hopefully the foot will wind up in front of the face. So now take the shin, still the leg is bent, guys, leg is bent. Leg is bent, shin perpendicular to the floor, as I'm showing in that screen. You can use the belt or hold the foot if you have long arms, or if you happen to have, if deep hip flexion comes easily, you might be just able to use your hands. If it's not, then use your belt and put it on across the ball of the foot, go to leg. Okay, now we're staying there because, again, I want you to appreciate we're bringing the hips into deep hip flexion before we stretch the leg. Okay, so another 30 seconds. Winnie, see if you can get the shin perpendicular to the floor versus parallel to it. So this is the second position. Lana, see if you can bring the trunk lower. Not trunk lower, thigh lower to your abdomen. Take a deeper bend. Okay. Deep, deep, deep. Good. Now, Mary Beth, shin perpendicular to the floor. Shin. So just look in the screen, guys. So this is what I mean. So this is parallel. That's the first position. This is perpendicular. Then my shin is perpendicular to the floor, right? But the leg is bent. It's not straight yet. Okay, stay there. Go to length. All right, now in a moment, and you'll have to repeat this, trust me, because it's rare for the leg to wind up where the right foot is over your face. So now with the belt, place it across. You can put it in any configuration you want. The ball or sole of the foot, straighten the leg, but don't let the leg, Janet, wander back. So now you have to use the belt, Tom. Use the belt now. You're holding the belt with two hands. Perhaps I should have demonstrated this. Okay, you're holding the belt with two hands. All right, now everyone has to repeat a few times. Bend the leg so the shin is perpendicular. Now, come on, inhale against the resistance of the abdomen moving back. Exhale, right? And then take another inhalation, against the resistance of the abdomen moving back. Now stretch the leg and don't let the leg wander back. Mary Beth, that was good. If you can hold the big toe lane, you can do it, right? So we want to bring the foot so that it actually winds up, if you can imagine, in front of the face. Do it a few times. Work with movement, a few more times in that manner. Bend it, deep flexion. Okay, now straighten the leg and aim to get the right foot over your face. Yes. So Janet, you can see it shimmies on back, right? All right, again, so I can see everyone bend. That's it, Nancy. Now, what I'll say, keep it in that, good, Nancy. So you kept it in that airspace. Keep it in that airspace. So bend it again. Now imagine you're looking at your leg from the side. Don't let the leg drift back. That's what it's always doing, right? Like the leg has to come with you as you go to lane, straighten the leg. And then Elaine, you got a little bit more to go. Okay. All right, now wait there. You're either holding the big toe or use the strap. You're in Supta 1, having come into it a different way. Ideally with the left foot at the wall. All right, now we're going to Supta 2, but first I want you to remember, so those of you who missed the first, when we sat, I talked about the compactness of the hips. So I want you to kind of squeeze your buttocks, your outer hips, and now take the right leg out to the side. So the compactness of the hips is critical in order to come into Supta Parivrishtasana 2. Otherwise, if the hips weren't compact, guess what would happen? The right foot would end up on the floor and the left thigh would drift up to the ceiling. So appreciate what's inherent. What has to happen in Supta Parivrishtasana 2 is the hips are compact. Appreciate that you're on the median line of your chest. Turn the belly from the right to the left. The compactness of the hips will help the turning of the belly from the right to the left. Okay, now take the leg up. All right, now we're doing Supta Padangusthasana 4, so you can watch me do it. So I have the traction belt on. And you've just been in Supta Padangusthasana 2. This one out to the side. Now you're taking the right foot into the crook of your left elbow and walking your right hand down the strap to hold either the strap or the big toe. Okay, so Supta Padangusthasana 4 or bent leg. This is not an easy pose for most people, and it gets harder and harder. See if you can get, Mary Beth, yes, the shin, that lower leg to be parallel to your collarbones, and there should be air space between the lower leg and your thigh. So some of you might have to lift your leg up a little bit. Good, Elaine. The right arm is behind your head in that Gomukhasana position. If it's hard on anyone's shoulder, then just do figure fours that I see some of you are doing. Stay for another 30 seconds. We often don't stay long enough to actually affect this pose. Tom, you can bend and you can do figure four. Just figure four, this one, when the left foot is on the floor and the right leg is crossed over. It's very challenging, just do figure four. Remember, Elaine and others, Mary Beth, that are in the full pose. If your neck hurts, put a bolster underneath it. Okay, now, Supta Padangusthasana 3, just take a look. So I'm going to show you in this configuration. So now in 3, the crossover one, you have to hold the belt with the left hand, but watch what I'm doing. I'm going to pull the strap down first. On the right hip, I pull the strap down first, and then I cross the right leg over to the left. So we're using the traction belt in Supta Padangusthasana 3, which is a really good thing. It'll help you create more space in the side ribs and the abdomen to turn from the left to the right. Yes, Elaine, pull that strap down. That's it. Take the right to the left. That's it, Gail. Pull down. Gail, this should be good for you. It's Supta Padangusthasana 3. So we did 1, 2, 4, 3 with traction belt, which is the very, very best way to do it. Tom, you can bend your right leg so that the leg winds up, at 90 degrees, but I would put the belt on it versus, oh, you're holding with the belt? Okay, I just didn't want it dangling in the airspace. All right, now take the leg up. All right, now before you change sides, let me just go over this again. So the traction belt, you need a big belt. All right, and now I have it on my right arch, left hip, but not in the hip crease, okay? And then just let me show you these positions again, because this is really important and it forms the basis. It will form the basis to some other work on hips, maybe upcoming in the next few weeks. So watch. This you all know. This is Ekapada Padangusthasana, and I'm merging the leg, the thigh with the abdomen. So I take an inhalation, I exhale, and then against the resistance of that exhalation and the abdomen moving back, I take another inhalation, aiming to get the leg closer, because I didn't say it as correctly as I wanted to. Now, the second position, look, guys, is this, right? Where the shin is perpendicular, sole of the foot is parallel. If deep flexion is hard for you, and it is for many, they have tight hips, then put a belt on. And then here's what I want you to watch. I keep it in this airspace. I don't let it drift back. Elaine, you did a good job with this. And then straighten the leg. Okay, I hope that's clear. So let's see if we can get a little bit more accuracy on this side. We'll spend time in Ekapada. So Ekapada, if you had a test on it, now the shin is parallel, good, Janet, to the floor, parallel to the ceiling. Flex the foot. Open up the heel hinge, spread the sole of the foot. That's it, Tom. If you have shorter arms, you might need the belt. If you have shorter arms and tight hips, you certainly will need the belt. All right, now take the shin perpendicular. But here's the thing, it's deep hip flexion. So some of you will need the belt, pull the belt down, flex your foot, and aim to get your thigh to rest, good Gail, on your chest. Good, Marina. Ain't good, very bad, that's it. Now take an inhalation, excellent, Elaine. Take an inhalation. Exhale, the abdomen is deflating, and now inhale against the abdomen, against that resistance of the abdomen, moving back. See if you can merge, Lana, the chest and the thigh. Get it closer and closer. Fill in the space. Let there be no space. Gail, you can hold the back of the thigh. I have no problem with that. Yeah. And you're holding the big toe, some of you, the outer edge of the foot. Good. We're spending some time in this. So the reasoning, once again, is we're using, I just want you to understand what we're doing, because it's not the way we usually do Supta 1. We're using deep hip flexion to stretch the hamstrings, which is somewhat counterintuitive, right? Okay, now, but watch, Suki, how the leg flew back when you strained it. So no, where is your leg in airspace? The upper thigh. Can you keep it there? Just straighten the leg, Mary Beth. That's it. You kept it there, Mary Beth. Now do that several times consecutively, because we didn't really do that on the other side. We did it and broke it up too much. So I want you to do a few times, 6 times, bend to straight. Janet, let's see. Bend it. Yeah. Now notice where the upper thigh is in the airspace. Don't let the leg go back at all. Right? Don't let it wander away. So the intentionality, good, Marina, is for your left foot to end up. That's it, Marina. Bend and straight. Bend and straight. Lana, let's see on this side. Bend, deep bend. That's it. And then aim that left foot is going to go. It'll end up on your face. Take it that way. Jan, it'll be interesting to see, you know, to incorporate stretching your hamstrings this way versus the other way. All right, now keep the leg beyond 90, which almost all of you are at. All right, now we're going to Supta 2 left side. So the hips are compact. Extend the right arm out, turn the belly left to right, and now take the left leg out to the side. You should feel there's a compactness. You sense your buttocks. You know, if you want to use the word gripping, that's fine with me. Those gluteal muscles should be taut, because otherwise that left leg will just wind up on the floor. And of course, the right thigh will lift up. So appreciate the glute muscles in Supta 2. Good. Wait there. And then come into bent leg or Supta Padangusthasana 4, where you're placing the left foot into the crook of the right elbow. The left arm comes behind you, hold the big toe or the strap. If this pose is impossible, figure 4. Janet, that's fine to do it in that manner. Yeah, relax the throat, good, Marina. Now press the right thigh down, Marina. You got another foot's up. No, the foot can be a little bit higher up. Just let the right thigh descend. Relax the throat. For those of you in the final pose, Elaine, oh, there's good, Nancy's back. Mary Beth, that looks really good. Okay, these look good. Because we haven't done a lot of Supta 4 in this way. I've given you a lot of options, but I wanted to do it this way. Okay, now take the leg up. We're doing Supta 4. So now you have to pull down the traction belt on the right side. So this is the long, that's it, Elaine. So you're facing the screen now so I can see it. Pull. So this is why I asked you to have the tail moving in the direction of that right heel. Pull it down. What happens when you pull it down, Elaine? You create space on that side, left side, and then take left to right. Use that traction belt. If you don't have a belt, I think they're very cheap on the 10-foot. Get at least 8 feet to 10 feet from the Hugger Mugger brand. That's it, Mary Beth. Good. Staying on the median line. Again, the hips have to be compact. The right hip is moving to the left. Good, Mary Beth. Left to the right. Feel the firmness, the compactness on the hips. So this Supta cycle, and I know Suki, you have told me many times that this is like the go-to that you do every day. This is so important to do this cycle, nothing else, just the Supta cycle, you know, in between the classes, etc. Okay, now when you're ready, take the leg up, and then extend it, well done. Take both knees to the chest for Dvipada, for symmetry. Yes, now Dvipada, again, merge the chest with the thighs. This is also good for anyone who's had some back issues. Okay, and then let's do child's pose, and then we'll come to Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay, so Elaine, when we do Adho Mukha Svanasana, do a half Uttanasana, I think would be good. So you're keeping with the themes of the class. Okay, so take child's pose first, buttocks onto the heels. If your buttocks don't merge with your heels, put a bolster in front of you, take the support in front so that your forearms are resting. All right. Child's pose. Just press the hands down. So prepare the arms for dog pose. See how each pose before informs the one after. Turn the upper arms from the inside out. Crawl forward with your arms so that you're elongating the side walls of your chest. The knees can be a little bit out to the side, but not so much that the abdomen sinks to the floor. All right. Now when you're ready, come into Adho Mukha Svanasana from an all-four position. Elaine, you can also do plank if you want. Or high chaturanga, I should say. Okay, now, since we did the Supta cycle, but I will say, if you do dog pose as your first pose in the morning, then take a wider one. Because we did the Supta cycle, no need to go too wide. I mean, no need to be as wide as the mat width. Okay, up you go, Lana, yeah. All right, that's it. Now, use this pose to open the backs of the knees, get the heels down. Sink those heels down. Right above the knee, press it back. Take the outer shins in, but move the inner knees away. Outer shins in, inner knees away. Just focus on your legs. Keep the legs straight, legs straight. And Elaine, you can do half Uttanasana for the legs straight part. And then you'll join us with the arm work. Get the heels down. Maureen, I know the heels at the wall is good, but I think you could be a little bit longer to elongate the spine. So now you'd have to walk the hands out, exactly. Good. All right, now from here, walk your feet to your hands. Take a half Uttanasana, Elaine, you're already in half Uttanasana, where the legs are perpendicular. Yeah, back concave. I want the shoulder blades to belong to the back. That's it, Lana. Shoulder blades on the back, not a round back. Some of you need the blocks underneath your hands, directly underneath your hands, so you're not toppling forward. Or everyone who can even do flat palm, Marina can do, but have the legs up against the wall, be on fingertips to bring the shoulder blades onto the back. This is not so easy to do, half Uttanasana. Suki, step in a little bit so that and have the arms directly in line with the shoulders. Elaine, just stay there. Okay, now place the hands on the hips. Inhale, up you come. All right, now we're doing a little bit of arm work, not too much. So you're going to just kneel here instead of adjusting the camera. Urdhva Hastasana and then Urdhva Baddha Bhulyasana, okay, for the arms. So when we come back to dog pose, we'll be arm centric. You can stand with the feet together or the feet hip width apart in Samastiti. Okay. Those of you who've had some back issues, I would advise strongly feet apart and then stretch up through your arms. I want to see that the arms are straight. So we have to keep the joints firm. Janet, that's good. Reach up through the fingertips, almost such that you feel a vibration in the fingertips. All right, now take the arms down. Let's do this again. So there's a tendency as we take the arms up in this manner versus out to the side that we move the thighs forward. All right, and that's what I just saw. So can you put your hands now, pronate the palms flat on the surface, on the root of the thigh. Just imagine you're in front of a wall. Do not let the thighs come forward as you stretch up through the arms. Something seemingly so easy is so challenging. So now find out, and this is really important, how would you know? One of the first ways to know is where is your weight on your foot? If it's coming toward the toes, trust me, you've let the thighs come forward. So I want you to feel the weight back onto that background of the heel where you were in dog pose. All right, now one more time in that manner. So weight to the heels. In fact, everyone lift your toes up, which will help. Feel the weight from the arch to the heel. I'm sinking the heels down. Now pronate the palms flat on the roots of the thighs. Resist the thighs moving forward. Resist the weight coming forward into the toes. And now quickly stretch up through the arms. All right, and again, repeat that 6 times. Don't let movement become a factor in taking good line of the thighs forward. Make your spine tall, your lower spine. When the arms are up, the spine should feel tall. Don't pitch the thighs forward. So there's a lot to be learned in Urdhva Hastasana and Tadasana. Now interlace the hands firm at the webbing, extend the arms, and now do Urdhva Baddha. Touch that. If it's painful, use a belt. That's the best modification. Just hold a belt in your hands. Okay, now change the cross. For those of you who did Urdhva Baddha, change the cross. And now again, weight to the back, heel, thighs back, reach up. Don't let the thighs come forward. Okay, now standing at the top of the mat, see if that arm action affected dog pose. Okay, Elaine, you can do now modified warrior 3. All right, so from an all 4 position, bend forward, Uttanasana, concave, touch concave, and then step back or jump back or jump, jump, jump back. Okay, now we've worked the arms. So see if you can, if the arm work, although we didn't do Urdhva Namaskar, which we will, see if the arm work helps you open up the armpits to get more length in the side walls of the chest. And then like you did when you were seated, take a deep inhalation, feel the side walls of the chest expand in that deep inhalation. And now see from that deep inhalation, can you move the chest toward the leg side? Move the chest. So the chest is coming closer to the legs, just like you merge the chest and the leg in the Supta cycle. Good, Marina. Open up those armpits. These are good. Suki, the armpit looks good. I'm just catching that outer armpit because the camera is not low enough to see the other part of the arm. Good, Elaine. Tom, that was good that you have the hands on blocks, turning the palms out. Okay, now walk your feet toward your hands. Elaine, you can join us. And now do Urdhva Namaskar. So the way we'll do Urdhva Namaskar is the more traditional way. Take the, which is the harder way. Fold, hi Nance. Fold the palms in front of you. Relax your upper arms. Press the feet down. Weight to the back heel and stretch the arms up. Janet, you can touch. You don't have to stay long in Urdhva. But the reason I'm not going to have you go to a different pose because we want to touch the final pose at some point versus constantly modifying. And repeat, palms together, reach up. Aim to get the arms straight, inner elbows firm, and the palms pressing equally. That's good, Gail. Let's see, Lana. Urdhva Namaskar. Or yes, you can use the block, Marina, between the legs always. Good, Mary Beth. So Nancy, we just did some arm work, dog pose while you were out. Okay, now from here, we're coming into Utthita Trikonasana. So you can face me, stand in the center of the mat in Samastiti. or Tadasana. Bring the hands to the level of the chest and jump. If you have foot issues, knee issues, go wide apart. Utthita Hasta Padasana. See that you're wide enough so that your spine can elongate in this pose, and then stretch out through your arms. Feel the net. Some of you had your hands here. You could have felt the indents, and then extend the arms. All right, then from here, turn the root of the right thigh out 90 degrees. Turn the left foot in a little bit. And then find out again and turning the right leg. Don't cock the hip like this. Can you see how my right hip is lower than the left? So lift the right side of the pubic bone up. That's a healthy action for the hips. And now on your next exhalation, watch, I'm going to reach out because I want to get as maximal length. And remember, by the way, everyone, if you're trouble with balance, you can do against the wall, which would be the easiest, the whole body against the wall, or just the left foot against the wall and come into Utthita Trikonasana. Sorry, first with hand on hip. All right, so let's see this. I want you to aim, and we'll do this on the second time, good Elaine, to get the side walls of the chest parallel to each other. So give yourself enough distance, guys, between your legs. Otherwise, you don't have to have half a chance. Honey can show me from behind. So adjust your screens, everyone, so I can see your full body. All right. Hand on hip, revolve the chest away from the floor. Good. Revolve the chest away from the floor. That means you're turning the trunk from the right to the left, and then finally lift the left hand off the hip and open the chest to the front of the screen. Marina, that's good. Many of you have the top side even to the bottom side. Now inhale, up you come. All right, out. There is a possibility, for some of you, especially if you're tight in the shoulders, if you want more articulation for the right shoulder blade, then put your palm flat on a block beside your right heel. That's one of my favorite ways to do it. Okay, we're doing the left side. So I want you to watch, everyone. So what do I mean by getting the side ribs even? It's not easy to do. So watch. I'm going to the left side. Just watch for a moment. So I'm reaching out, and I'm saying the word reach because we're going to need this later. I'm getting length to the left side, and then I bring the hand down lightly to the shin. It's not weight bearing. And I'm aiming to get the top side, the right side, even to the bottom side. So you could, if you want to, put your hand on that top rib cage, send a message to soften these muscles, that basically the intercostal muscles between the ribs, move those muscles away, the skin, it's actually the skin and the muscle, away from the ceiling, and then take your final pose. All right, let's try it on the left side. So that's a visual of the side ribs even. Some of you have that, Elaine, and others have it. Okay. All right, here we go. Go wide apart. Yeah. All right, now extend, turn the left leg out. Make your hips even. That's good, Mary Beth. Don't let the left side it wants to drop. So zip up the left side of the pubic bone. Now anchor the back heel down. Reach, go slowly. Yes, the back heel Lana at the wall will help extend your spine. But I think it was better on the left side yesterday than it was on the right. Nancy, that's good. All right, now find out. You could look at yourself in the mirror, which is not a bad idea. You can look at yourself in the screen. See if the left side of the chop chest is even to the bottom side, parallel. This is parallel, right? Parallel. Janet, that's good. All right, but Tom, see if you can keep the right leg straight. Winnie, see if you can take the top side of the chest away from the ceiling. And then finally, outstretch your arms. If you have your left hand on the brick, that palm flat will help you articulate that left shoulder blade, which is, as I said, one of my favorite ways to do it. Okay, keep moving that buttock flesh down. I want you to take an inhalation to work with the breath. Okay, and up you come. All right, now let's, if anyone needs to be up against the wall or if they handed the wall for tree pose, Vrikshasana, take it. Otherwise, this is what we're going to do. You're going to stand on your left leg and you're going to take your right leg up. All right, and then we're going to take the arms, actually, sorry, palms facing, and then reach up to Urdhva Namaskar. So I'll give you time if you need to be near a wall or against the wall, or even use the backrest of a chair. So we're going to stand on the left leg first. All right, so stand in Samastiti, spread the feet. Okay, now lift your right leg up, standing on the left leg. See if you can bring the heel as high up to your pubic plate as possible. Now find those indents. So now the indents are very important in Vrikshasana. The right buttock flesh has to move down. Now make the side walls of your chest even as they were in Adho Mukha Svanasana. And then fold the palms, keep an even pressure across the palms, and then stretch the arms up to the arm position of Urdhva Namaskar. Good, Lana, that we did earlier. That's it, Nancy, you can do it. Watch, Marina, the listing to the left. So firm, you have to abduct in your left hip, Marina. Make the trunk be on the median line. Another good pose to do in front of the mirror. Now take the arms down. All right, now see how Vrikshasana informs Utthita Trikonasana. So we're not doing Vrikshasana yet on the other leg. I want you to now go back to Trikonasana to the right and see the similarities between the poses. All right, so watch, I'll show you from the side. So one of the things that Vrikshasana teaches us is that this buttock flesh doesn't move back. The buttock flesh moves actually toward the front body and away from the waist, right? So the buttock is not moving out. As I press the big toe mat of the right foot, draw up from the knee to the hip, I move the buttock into the buttock so that the right groin opens to the front of the screen, all right? So let the Vrikshasana action that you learned have its imprint in your cellular memory for Utthita Trikonasana. Okay, here we go, out to the side. Gail, take the head back so the trunk and head are directly over the right leg. You can start with the hand on the hip, good. Make an evenness in the side ribs. All right, now that Vrikshasana action in the right buttock, can you get that now in Trikonasana? The right buttock is moving into the buttock so that the groin, right groin opens like an eye, and not like a wink of an eye, but a big wide eye. And now inhale, up you come. All right, now take Vrikshasana standing on the right foot so that when we come to do Utthita Trikonasana on the left side, you'll have that cellular memory. So that's what we're doing today, okay? See how poses inform each other. So now on the right side, yes, find the indents, firm in at that left hip, move the left buttock flesh down, extend from the inner left groin to the knee to open that left groin, good Mary Beth, and then palms together and reach up. That's it, Nancy, good. You've got it. So actually what helps Nancy with balance, you can see, is getting that gripping, if you will, of the buttocks. It's a gripping, for lack of a better word. Okay, now do Utthita Trikonasana, left leg in front, with the information that you gleaned from Vrikshasana, left side. So using one pose to create a cellular memory in the body. Winnie, see if you can really elongate. So notice how the top side, Winnie, yeah, move it away, the top side. The right side needs to be moved away from the ceiling, away from the ceiling, away from the ceiling. Okay, now inhale, up you come. All right, now we'll try everyone's favorite pose, Utkatasana. So I want to show this pose because I think there's a common visual in people's minds that the trunk is less perpendicular than it really ought to be. So watch, And then we'll try something that I hadn't been taught in Utkatasana that might help you keep lower lumbar spine length. So I'm standing in profile so you can see. My intention is to not overarch in my lower spine. Mary Beth, it'll be interesting to see if the knees at the wall helps you. Lana, we discussed yesterday. So I'm spreading my feet. I'm finding my indents, which are inherent, and I reach up. The arms up will help you get length to your side ribs and actually help you not overarch. Now, as I descend the roots of my thighs, I can imagine my hands on the roots of the thighs. I move the shins back and I use my arms to create a tallness in the lower spine. So what I don't want is, watch, I don't want the chest to be parallel to the floor or even this, well, this is not perpendicular. I want the chest and the lower spines to be tall, okay? So it's not upright, 90 degrees. It's at a slight angle, let's just say 20 degrees. So I'm just saying.
Ronnie,
Yeah.
All right, so I have trouble keeping it upright. Is it better not to go down as far and keep your back upright?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. All right. And then, Janet, you'll see if the knee way helps in any way. Okay. So adjust the feet hip width apart or together. If you're seasoned, it's a little bit harder. All right. Now bring weight to the back of the heel. Raise the toes up like we did earlier in the arm work. Raise the arms up, toes up, arms work. Now imagine I'm in the room with my hands on your shins. Move the shins back to keep the weight back and go. Good, Janet. Go down a little bit. Go down a little bit. Just a little bit. And then use the arms good to make your lower spine tall. Well, Mary Beth, that's it. Okay, these look good. I don't want anyone's abdomen to drift forward. All right, now try it this way. This might help, it may not. So I'm standing about, I don't know, my heels are about 10 inches away from the wall, 8 to 10 inches. My kneecaps just touch the wall. See, Janet, this might help. So I'm using the wall that's parallel to my chest for proprioception to keep my chest upright and then reach up through the arms, okay? And of course you won't go down as much. All right, so take Utkatasana with kneecaps at wall. So you're standing in front of the wall just so that the knees graze the wall. That's it, Nancy, and now climb your hands up at the wall. Marina, it looks like your chest is going way back because I think that something's pushing you back. The wood piece. Go down. That's it, Mary Beth. See if you can use the kneecaps at the wall so that your lumbar spine does not overarch. Okay, now come back and do the full pose, but show in profile to me. All right, so again, I want a tallness here. None of this, not this, not this, not this. This. So the trunk, I'll see, if this is 90, this maybe is a slight angle, right? 20 degrees off that median line, all right, at most. All right, use the arms. And now sit down. Nance, take the weight back. Lana, that's really good. Excellent, Elaine. These look good. Janet, good. These look very good. I don't see a lot of abdomen bellying forward. Good, Janet. And out you come. All right, that was good. All right, now we're doing Chitta Pajrakonasana. So watch quickly. Okay, there's something going on outside. It's making a racket and I'm not sure what it is. All right. All right, so you're taking your legs wide apart. Now, I'm not going to have you get a brick because I want to see if you can do Chitta Pajrakonasana with your hand on the floor. Need not be flat palm, it could be fingertips on the baby toe side of the foot. So watch, like Utkatasana, I'm going to descend. I'm just putting my hand because pronating the palm flat on the root of the thigh helps. So that's the Utkatasana action. And then like Trikonasana, I'm taking the right arm out, reaching to extend my trunk forward And then remember what I talked about, filling in the space between the trunk and the thigh, which I filled now, and then I revolve the chest. We're not taking the arm overhead, all right? So let's see that. Utthita Parshvanattanasana. Only use a block if the hand doesn't come down to the floor. You'll find that most of you don't need a block. If you use a block, the other thing that block prevents is merging the chest with the thigh. So now spread your wings, turn the root of the right thigh out. Now pronate the right palm flat on the root of the thigh, descend the root of the thigh. And now from the baby toe side of your left heel, reach out with your right arm. Bring the hand down. Watch the knee, shin has to move back. Inner knee to outer knee, bring the hand to the floor. That's it, Lana. Now with the left hand on the hip, revolve. Not gonna keep you long. Don't let the inner knee collide. So Marina, I think it's almost too wide because the right foot is forward of the knee. All right, now come back up, good Mary Beth, to Virabhadrasana 2, and out you come. All right, we're gonna change sides. So listen, pair these actions for some of you. Marina, this will help. When you descend, let me show this. Well, we'll show it frontally. So when you descend the root of your left thigh, this shin doesn't move forward. This shin has to move back to the wall. So I can pronate the palm, I can reach out, but this shin has to move back toward my right heel. Pair that. Okay, here we go. Go wide. Janet, your left foot looks like it's forward of the knee, right? All right, here we go again. So facing forward, descend the root of the left thigh, and then from the back, the baby toe side of your right foot, reach out, get length. Bring the hand down to the floor. Ideally, don't use the block because otherwise, keep your hand on your hip, right hand on your hip. That's good, Lana. And then no gap. Good, Nance. Okay, this is much better. So the hand is on the outside. Some of you I know have on the inside, and that's probably my fault because I probably teach it more that way. But just the classical way today, where the hand is on the outside. And then find out about that buttock that we learned in Vrikshasana. If you need to come up, do so. Okay, now inhale, up you come. All right, now we're going to do something that's kind of more fun. All right, so you have, I'll show this with my, all right, so we're actually going to come from Utthita Parshvanattanasana, the pose that we just did, well, we didn't do this yesterday, to Trikonasana. So I'm gonna actually have you hold the big toe in Utthita Parshvanattanasana. So watch, then you, so this is why we didn't do it on the inside, which is where the big toe is, but did it on the outside. All right, so watch everyone. All right, so I'm in Samastiti, go wide. Same pose, same exact thing that we did. Watch, I have to move this shin back. Now I'm bringing my hand more on the inside. I'm holding the big toe between the first two fingers and thumb. And then watch, do you remember Supta Padangusthasana 2? And then I begin to straighten the leg. So from the deep hip flexion, Janet, straighten the leg, Trikonasana. Deep hip flexion, many of you will enjoy this, all right? If your hand doesn't reach the big toe, you can place the hand a smidge higher up on your inner right shin and straighten the leg. Let's see how this goes. So let's start with me, so I'll take you through it. Stand in Samastiti, jump or step the feet wide apart. Okay, take a wide enough stance because otherwise the knee won't be over the ankle. This is actually quite nice. I think some of you, Mary Beth and others, will really enjoy this. Now, turn the right leg out 90 degrees. That's it. All right, now, at the same time, descend the root of the thigh, but move the right shin back. Shin back. That's it. Now, anchor the back heel down, back heel, outer edge of the left foot. Now, extend your right arm, reach out, and see if you can hook the big toe. That's it, Nancy. Hold the big toe between the index finger, middle finger, and thumb. Hook it, but still the leg is bent now. Still the leg is bent. Remember this thing. Remember this thing. Now straighten the leg. Straighten the leg, Elaine, to go to Utthita Trikonasana. Just straighten the leg. If the hand wanders up, good, Nancy. You're see, Nancy, how much now? Your hand is much closer down to the floor. Okay, can we do it again? Bend the leg, hold the big toe, hold it, get a good hold of it, keep the hold, and now straighten the leg. Remember what you did in the Supta cycle. Remember, it's the same thing. Straighten the leg, good, Gail. And now inhale, up you come. Yes, yes. Okay, change, Elaine, take it easy. All right, let's go the other side. So what we did on that right side, Utthita Prajnakonasana, I'm just naming it so you're igniting your memory, is this, right? We did this. Remember this? We did this, Ekapada, then shin perpendicular, and then I stretch it. Now it's true, it's similar now to also Utthita Prajnakonasana, Supta Padangusthasana too, because we came into Utthita Trikonasana, but it comes from that deep hip flexion. So the point being, and Janet's not here anymore, so just to again remind you, we're using this deep hip flexion for the hamstrings. Okay, go to the left side when you're ready. Turn the left leg out. All right, that's it. Descend the root of the left thigh, move the left shin back, and then extend the left arm out. Good, Elaine. Hook the big toe, hook it. Get a good hold of it. Don't let it go. So now the left hand, Marina, watch how that left foot is still forward of the knee. Yeah, you have to, I want the foot to be directly underneath the knee. So now, Nance, when you're ready, you're bending the left leg. That's it, Gail. Now slowly straighten the leg. Think of what you did in the Supta, good, Mary Beth. Supta 2. And repeat, bend, hook it, and now straighten. Bend, good, Elaine, and straight. Well done. All right, and out you come. Well done, Mary Beth. Okay, these are good. I'm really pleased. All right, now, let's see how time is. I think we could use some cooling down. So instead of taking Virabhadrasana 1 now, I'd like all of you to do Ardha Chandrasana with the back against the wall to experience some of this. So one of the things I will say about standing work, it can be muscular and it can be exhausting. So let's use some standing poses, not so much to exert ourselves, but for a cooling process. So Ardha Chandrasana at the wall, you all know it. You can come into it from Utthita Trikonasana, which we did, and then step out and step up. All right, so Ardha Chandrasana. Then I'm going to ask you to lift. You're just going to be bouncing on your right leg. Lift the left side of your pubic bone up and see if you can aerate out the pelvis by taking your leg higher. Nancy, last time you did Ardha Chandrasana, you got the leg quite high. So see what happens today. I'm going to go quickly upstairs and see what the commotion is. Steve? Hey, Steve? Steve? I didn't know you were here. All right, Ardha Chandrasana to the right. Gail, that's beautiful. Beautiful. Now, sense that you're actually going back onto your wall as though you're doing a back bend against the wall and as though you could flip over onto your left arm. Just sense that you're doing a back bend. Take the leg higher. Tom, I can show you, if you're tired, you can do Supta Padangusthasana too. Winnie, the block is a little bit high because the right shoulder is higher than the hip, so flip the block to the medium side. Okay, change sides when you're ready. Let's see. Okay, Ardha Chandrasana, and I just incline your mind to this is a cooling posture. Use the wall to support your whole back, and then standing on your left leg now, turn your abdomen from the left to the right. Sense that the pubic bone is lifting up to the ceiling. Aim to get good, Gail, the leg higher and higher. That's it, Nancy. Now it's beyond 90. All right, now out you come. All right, now let's do Prasarita Padottanasana 1, which is another pose. We don't do a lot, but it is a cooling pose. So watch, this is the pose I'm referring to. So I touch the concave and then I walk the hands back and take the head down. All right, if your head doesn't come to the floor, use the blanket or the block. All right, so you can show me in profile as I just demonstrated, so I can see that the legs are perpendicular, the chest is concave, and your head is down. Okay, so take the legs wide apart. Err on, if you need the height, absolutely take it, because again, we're using this to cool the brain. Elaine, you can stay in just concave. Good deal. Concave first. So that means the hands would be on 2 blocks if you need, not 1. All right. Now walk your hands back in line with your heels and take the crown of the head to the floor. If it's more than a tall side of a brick down distance away from the floor, then come back quickly to the concave stage. Then you don't take the head down if you have to use a block. So Tom, see if you can take 2 blocks for each hand, because the way your hands are now, it's narrowing your chest versus broadening it. And now lift, Mary Beth, the shoulders away from the floor. See if you can get your hands in line with your inner heels. So that's it. And then lift, just imagine I'm standing in front of you, Mary Beth, lifting your shoulders away from the floor. It's harder to do with the legs at the wall. You could topple forward. Marina, see if you can get the buttocks back to the, because now your legs are at an angle. It's tricky when Prasarita Padottanasana at the wall. Good, Suki. All right, so I want you to treat this, that's much better, Tom, as a cooling pose. Now bring the hands onto the hips. Come back through concave, those of you. All right, now we'll try one more cooling posture. So I want you to see these poses in kind of a new light, the standing poses, because usually when we refer to standing poses, it takes muscular effort and a lot of energy. So this last and final one, Parsvottanasana, intense forward bend stretch. So this is what we're going to do. Some of you will need blocks. Again, turn the root of the right thigh out, left leg turns in. Now the trunk is facing forward. And then we won't take the arms up because that's alerting to the brain. So again, we're doing these poses to cool the brain down and then bow down, merging the chest with the thigh, okay? All right, so again, these last 3 standing poses done in this manner cools the brain. That's it, Elaine. Turn to face the right leg. So it's a different angle now for the chest, right? So this is interesting. Appreciate, this is the very first standing pose that we really did internal rotation. So now we're moving the hips. We're addressing the hips, all the interfaces. You can touch the concave, although Suki, that's too high. Now the shoulders, can you feel, are higher than the hips? So go down and then completely go down. In going down, don't bend the right leg. All right. So you can see the standing poses, are challenging. They actually are more challenging as we get older. All right, now inhale, up you come. All right, we're going to the left side. All right, so it's true. I want you to use this to quiet the brain, but see if you can merge, work with the actions of what we did in the active part of class, which was merging the trunk with the leg now. Okay, here we go. Keep the legs straight on the way down. Mary Beth, that's good with the arms backward. Now, if your chest doesn't merge with the thigh, then you could try bent leg in the same way. And this is much more instructive of the Supta 1. That's it. Bend and straighten. Parsvottanasana, intense forward bend stretch. Bow down. See if you can get that leg. So remember so just take a look at the screen. Remember this one. Now this is much more like Parsvottanasana. And then when you're ready, come up. All right, now we'll go to a seated posture. Can you all get your traction belt? again. And I want you instead, so we usually do Upavishta Konasana from Dandasana, you all know it. But today I want you to loop the belt, and of course take the legs as wide for sure, but I want you to use the traction belt for the outer edges of the hip, for the outer edges of the feet. Now ask yourself for a moment, why would we do it this way? It should be fairly evident as soon as you get it on. So a lot of the theme of the class today was compactness at the indents, and then sense that your outer edges of the feet are breaking the belt. So remember to make it long enough so you go wide, seal the backs of the legs to the floor, and the trunk is upright. And then break the belt with the outer edges of the feet. Now, if you're really breaking the belt, can you feel it in your outer hips? You might feel it also in your inner thighs. So there is a stretch from your inner groin to your inner knee, but I want you to get that compactness in the hips in Upavishta Konasana. You can sit on height or up at the wall, Tom. Yeah, keep the trunk upright. Keep sealing the legs to the floor. Seal the legs to the floor. Some of you, I think, can make the belt a little wider. I know with the belt, oftentimes we make it too short so we don't get that width across the pubic blade. So maximize the width across the pubic blade, but still break the belt with your feet. Good, Mary Beth. Now, stretch up through the arms. Use that extension through the arms to lift the lower spine up. Lift the lower spine up. If your brain is active, then you don't have to take the arms overhead, just place them beside your hips. Okay, now take the belt off, and then with the memory of the belt, use that cellular memory the props have imprinted on your body. Employ that for a slightly wider Upavishta Konasana. So see how I lifted the trunk up and I slid forth. Still the legs seal, and there's that compactness. I have the memory of the belt and my feet breaking the belt, and the spine is upright. Good. All right, now bring the legs back to Dandasana. You're going to do Chatuspadasana, so watch. Dvipada first, bring the heels in as close to the buttocks as the knees will allow, and then press the feet down and lift that mid buttock right here, the mid buttock higher and higher. You'll do about 10, all right? Chatuspadasana, and then we'll do Setu Bandha. Elaine, I'll have you demonstrate Setu Bandha with feet at wall, because I know you know it, and pelvis on brick, after this, Elaine, you get ready. All right, here we go, up and down. I want 10 high quality. Hold the side, good Mary, hold the sides of the mat. So no brick yet. We're using, we're no brick, not supported, no brick. Lift the pelvis up. Lift the pelvis up. Marina, that's fine to hook the ankles with the belt. Lift up. You have to use some muscular effort. Those glutes have to fire. Those hamstrings have to fire. Press the feet. Press the shoulders, press the head, and lift straight up. Let the lift be from the posterior back body more than the front body. Lift up. Okay, lift up. That's it. All right, so hopefully you can finish. If you haven't done 10, I'm going to just spotlight Elaine. Elaine, you'll bring the, so you'll get your measurement, and I will tell you, most people in this pose, we haven't done it in some time, are too far away from the wall. Just kind of shout out now. All right, so I'm going to spotlight Elaine and she'll show it. So ideally, I would say if you have 3 blocks, you can put 2 underneath your pelvis side by side and 1 for the feet. Or if you only have 2, 1 for the feet, 1 for the pelvis. Ideally in this pose, 4 bricks is great. All right, remember the cork is higher than the wood. All right, I'm going to spotlight Elaine. So all right, let's see. Hold on. All right, so Elaine, let me see. All right, so she lifts her, so Elaine, go back down for a minute. So just show us that you have 2 blocks, lift them up in the air. So she's doing what I prefer. She's kind of like using like symbols. She's gonna press her feet, lift her pelvis. See how she's fairly close to the wall. She knows the pose. Okay, she presses down, she goes up. Now she gets those blocks underneath her pelvis. And now get them situated. This is the measurement is really the hardest part of course, lifting the butts. And then you might slide away a little bit away. Yeah, get the pelvis. Yeah, you're a little close, but that's okay. Better err on closer than further away. And now straighten the legs, press the thighs down the lane away from the ceiling. Good. So the legs will wind up straight. The pelvis is supported by 1 brick or 2. And her chest, look at the geometry, is perpendicular. Now what she's doing is good. Now I think maybe she needs head support. Okay. Yeah, some of you might take head support, but I didn't say it that it's very hard to maneuver shoulder support and the bricks at the same time. She doesn't need the head support. So now she's pressing her inner elbows down as though she's reading her palms, creates just the right environment for her chest to be upright. Thanks, Elaine. I'm taking you off the spotlight, and then I'm going to
So
see.
Ronnie, if you just have 2 bricks, what do you do?
1 for the pelvis, and so if you have 2 bricks, I would use I wouldn't put the feet, I'd put the feet at Nancy on the wall, which doesn't require bricks. I think people are more comfortable with the 2 bricks as Elaine demonstrated, side by side. If you have 3 bricks, then I'd use 2 under the pelvis and 1 at the wall. If you have 4, 2 underneath the pelvis and 2 at the wall. So to your point, Nancy, try it with 2. It'll be more comfortable for your back with 2. Marina, it's a good idea. I'm not loving that chair seat. It's almost too high in relationship to your hips. I would just remove the chair seat. Yeah, you don't need that. Yeah, because it's creating a distortion of the angle in the legs and the hips. Okay, Tom, you could be a little closer. So the feet are on the floor to start out. The feet are on the floor, not on the blocks. The feet will wind up on the blocks, but the blocks are against the wall. And Tom, they'd be on the higher side. Yeah, the most vertical. The moving along the lane for you that you've settled in is you might kick a block away and then the other, and eventually bring the feet down to where, and they're about the same thing, where the heel and the floor meet. It's more of a groin stretch. Yes, kick away, Mary Beth. Yeah, that's it. Okay, Nancy, yeah, sit, go in, lift up, put the blocks underneath you, and then extend one leg, then the other. Yeah, we haven't done, Tom, you're a little bit too far away from the wall. See how your feet have lost contact? And that can be even harder on the back. We'll do this Friday. We need to spend more time. I'll have Elaine demonstrate, Mary Beth, and kicking away the blocks. So I'm going to just spotlight Mary Beth because Elaine has it on the lower, but Mary Beth has the heels on the floor. So now for everyone, just come out, bend your legs, press down, take the blocks out, and then take a look. I just want you to see the full pose that we kind of need to take on. My fault for not doing this often enough. So I'm going to spotlight Mary Beth so you see the shape. Elaine, you can really see how now Mary Beth's and Elaine's feet were up against the wall. So when her feet now are down where the floor and the wall meet, there's a much more opening. Mary Beth, put your hands on your frontal groins. No, the frontal groins, yes. And that's the stretch that you need in Supta Virasana, right? That's what you need. But in Supta Virasana, the legs are bent. Now, show the exit, Mary Beth. Bend the legs and then lift the pelvis up. Now bring the blocks to the low side because if you yes. And then take the knees in. This is a very good way to come out. All right, good. All right. Now we'll prepare for relaxation. So let me unspotlight Mary Beth. All right. So now everyone get what you need. Some of you might, it might be valuable to do the chair Shavasana, which will be nice on your hamstrings and your hips. Yeah, you can do Viparita Karani too. That's it. Yeah, chair can be at the wall. You can put the bolster on the tall side to get the traction in the lower spine, which is always a nice thing to do. Really just, yeah, prone shavasana is fine. Laying, that's good. Yes, legs elevated at the wall is good, Mary Beth, would be Gurudh Karani style. So if the legs are at the wall, make sure they look fine. So I just want to, before we relax a bit, just to recap this lesson, you know, standing poses are wonderful poses. They actually build energy and certainly vitality that I alluded to at the beginning in the meditation, but not at the expense of draining our physicality and our mental energy. So we use some of the variations of standing poses to cool the mind as well. And then the overall emphasis today was on the hips to stretch the legs. Compactness of the hips, that deep hip flexion and service of stretching the legs. So settle down, settle back. And perhaps sensing less fragmentation in the body and in the mind than when you first arrived in class, which is often the case. Feeling more at one with your own body and with your own mind as the consciousness has changed with the yoga practice. Consciousness changes. So you can reflect back at the very beginning of the class when we sat together. Do you feel less fragmented? Of course, if the answer is yes, that will make one do more yoga. Encourage you to spend some time in, say, the Supta cycle as we do. And now just feel the body in contact with the earth, supporting you, taking refuge now. Feeling safe, secure, protected in your space. Perhaps again noticing as we're grateful if that sense of vitality comes. That sense of aliveness. Not being overwhelmed, but really being inspired by that vitality. And perhaps reminding yourself throughout the day when you notice that the vitality, the quality of aliveness is diminishing. Sense that when you're grateful to something, whatever it might be, holding a hot cup of coffee in your hands, how you can encourage that sense of aliveness, of vitality. Let that be your daily dharma practice throughout the day, using, if you will, some poignant part of mindfulness in your everyday life, in your hours, the rest of your hours in the day that are not devoted to asana practice. And then when you're ready, Mary Beth, you can bend the legs at the wall, feet flat, and then everyone roll gently to the side, and then just sitting for a moment. And again, to sit up straight, use the in-breath to sit up straighter when you're ready. And again, it's nice to feel the breath, the inhalation touch the side walls of the chest. Again, to create that vitality in your being. And you can do this standing, if you need to create that increased vitality, but also with a sense of gratitude. It's very helpful. And just sit for a moment upright, as we do at the very beginning of the class. Sit collected, mind and body. Mind, body, and breath merging together as one. I'll end the recording, and then please, if you have any questions, I'd be particularly interested in hearing about the Supta Panagustasana cycle from the deep flexion that we haven't done, if you want to comment.